Well, look what I done did. Got the new one sitting up in there. Still got some work to do though, don't I? Alright, well that's all I'm going to do in here today. I got to go get cleaned up. I'm going to get in that Dodge and put her in the wind. Had the young man, ooh, I better put a cap on that. Young man came and helped me today. He done pretty good. He fixed the boost leak on the old Dodge. We turned up the boost and I could hear it leaking, and a boot was off the intercooler, and it's been that way a long time apparently. Partially off. They didn't get the clamp on it, on the boot. All the way on and the clamp on it. So it was lifting and leaking. So that was a bummer. Anyway, I'm going to go get cleaned up. Good morning. Saturday morning, February 1st, I believe, of 2025. Yep. Got that out. Got a 9-inch housing in place. I need to pull the axle so I can get these backing plates off and put the brakes on it. Then put the center section in and the axles. We're putting a 370 gear and a posi. Yeah, this truck's going to be pretty awesome whenever I get it done. I need to get after it. Yeah, also, look at that. We're going to open the door because it's like spring out there. It's like 60 degrees. Birds are chirping. The parking lot's full, ain't it? Alright, let's see what can be done. I'm gonna forego today my usual urge for tidiness and not clean up my workbench. At least right now. Look, there's my new brake shoes and hardware and wheel cylinders. The first thing I gotta do is pull this cover off this rear end and drain the oil out so I can pull the C-clips, so I can pull the axles, so I can pull the backing plates. Yep. By the way, I've always resisted wearing gloves because, you know, I'm a tough guy, but turns out my skin's real brittle these days. And I'm tired of bleeding all the time, so looks like I need something better than that. Looks like brand new in there, mostly. Well, we don't have to drain it all. We just got to pull that little pin right there. I'll get that out and then let me show it to you. Got to pull that bolt and then pull that pin, which will allow me to push the axles in and pull the C-clips out. Looks like new. Alright, let me do that and I'll turn you back. The pin shows very little wear. A lot of times you'll see these things are hammered out pretty good. I had one in a, let's see, it was a 79 Olds Cutlass. Of course, that was a 7.5 inch ring gear, I think. This wallered out so bad, probably from me doing burnouts, that it fell out. And C-clip came out. And I lost an axle while I was going down the road. Right there's your C-clip. And I just dropped it in the oil. Alright, that's because I was trying to do it one-handed. But that's no problem. Have magnet, will retrieve. And that's why they call it a C-clip. Looks like a C. Now the axle will come right out. Alright, I got that axle back in. I got the brakes on this side all done. Now to tackle the other side. Maybe Mama would come up here and help me film a little bit, but she's down burning. Her mama had saved 35 years worth of mail, so she went through all of it and burned the stuff that wasn't necessary, and as you can imagine, that was quite a lot. So maybe she'll come along here after a while. Alright, the axle's back in the old rear end. I'm going to sell that to Got Milky 1. Because he's got some inventory too, you know. It's a 273 gear. I thought it'd be 308, but I checked the numbers on the ring gear. 273. 273 with overdrive it was. Highway cruiser. Now it's going to be 370 with overdrive. A little bit more of a freeway brawler. Let's see, I got brakes done on both sides. If you don't believe it, just look. Now I need to put the center section in so I can put the axles in, so I can put the brake drums on. It's all coming together, kind of. And there's the center section. That came from Speedway. I think it was $1,100. Yeah, kind of pricey. But when you're doing stuff for people, it's better to have stuff that just goes together instead of fighting with everything. I'm a broke man myself. Oh, this past week I flew to Hartford, Connecticut, and then went to, I think it's Westfield, Massachusetts. And that was interesting. Snow up there, cold. Bunch of Yankees. The Yankees everywhere. But we did what we had to do and come on back. Got off the plane here, it was 60 degrees. That was nice. Same night that helicopter crashed into the airplane. So that's a little bit, gives you a little pause, don't it? Alright, I had to turn down the boss singing about the USA to point out that I'm somewhat of a dummy. I forgot about these little rascals. Sure did. That's what holds the axles in. Well, it ain't the end of the world. It's really not that big of a deal, actually. Unfortunately, it turns out I'm stymied for the day because, at least on this, because I ain't got a gasket. Didn't come with the deal. And, more importantly, I don't have the little studs that go in there to hold it in place. Also, If we look in there, we see some little welding balls. Probably should get all that mess cleaned out of it, Yeah, I think so. And also need a rear brake hose, because no use putting that old crap on it. I wonder if I got one that's suitable. I got a box of brake hoses. I think they're more for old Fords. Oh, man. Alright, let me get to digging. So I was getting ready to put the filler nozzle in, and I noticed a difficulty right there. See that stud touching the body? That's the power wire for the fuel pump. That's not good. Now I gotta figure out what to do about that. Alright, what I did was I took a die grinder, an angle grinder with a burr, and got a hole in it. Of course I fought with everything because throwing these brass ones on the floor, it peens the end over so it don't stay connected, which is aggravating. And then this loosened up the nut, which let the head spin, which was aggravating. And the other bit I had got dull, which was aggravating. But other than that, it went pretty smooth. Alright, now let me put the tank back up in there and see if it works. Well, after the tank in and out 3 times, I believe I got it. The gas gauge stud's a little close now, ain't it? So evidently, when the first time I put it in, it tightened up against the body there and snugged out. So as soon as I put power to the fuel pump, that would have shorted out. So, look who joined me. It's almost 4:30, but she did join me. I might pinch that stud off right there just to make sure it doesn't fool with my fuel gauge. I'm telling you, that's a design flaw right there. Tanks.
Was the old one like that?
Tanks ink. The old one doesn't have a fuel pump in the tank. It just has a suction hose and a fuel sender. But this truck, since it's going to be an LS, or it is an LS now, has to have a pump in the tank or a noisy one on the frame rail. I mentioned earlier about buying parts so everything goes together, but it ain't been the case on this thing. Every confounded piece I've got to massage and make work. It's aggravating. It's taking forever. All I managed to do all day is get the brakes on this thing and fight with this. But I'm going to get it before I quit. This fuel nozzle is going to be attached by George. It absolutely was hitting because when I nipped it, the top of the tank sprung up just a touch. I didn't get as much done as I wanted to, which seems to be the case lately. Well, I got to order the bolts to hold the differential housing in there and a gasket so I can finish that up. And the main thing left is air cleaner, which I started, and the wiring so it'll run. And Mrs. Heavy Chevy joined me late, but she did join me. So
I'm not gonna give that up.
I'm not gonna give it a rest. And she's gonna ring the bell. It's a tradition we've kind of forgot about, but
Well, we need a bell in Virginia.
I got a little bell there somewhere, I think. Yeah. A little bell right there.
Ain't that cute?
That's pitiful. What does it say in there? Handmade, silver plated. What? Christmas 1991. Wonder where that came from. Little Miss made that a long time ago. I'm gonna keep it forever. I got all kinds of junk, don't I? Up there's a dual quad intake. All right, we ended the video, didn't we? I'm gonna shut up now.